All right, hey you guys, Ms. Smith here, and today we're going to talk about distribution and combining like terms. So I'm going to do pretty much the even numbers with you, and let's start with number 2. So in number 2 we have 84 equals negative 6 times 2 plus 3r plus 6. So let's figure out what to do first here, and usually a good place to start would be with that distribution. And the reason we do distribution first is because distribution is the same thing as a certain kind of multiplication, and multiplication comes before addition in PEMDAS. So let's go ahead and distribute. I'm going to draw my rainbows from this negative 6 to the 2, and make sure you're thinking of that as a negative 6. And we also have negative 6 times the 3r. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do this. Let's bring down the 84. And we're just going to simplify this part right here. So negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. And negative 6 times 3r is going to be negative 18r. So I'm just going to write minus 18r. And then we just still have our plus 6. Nothing changes about that. So let's just bring it down. Okay, so we're getting a little simpler here. We still need to simplify more. It looks like over here we have some like terms. You see these regular old numbers? You can call them constants. We've got a negative 12 and we have a positive 6. So what I need to do is just combine those together by going negative 12 plus 6. So I'm going to use my negative button down here. Make sure you use the negative, not the minus, if you're using this kind of calculator anyways. Others might work differently. We'll do negative 12 plus 6, and that gives me negative 6. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this down again. And instead of writing the negative 12 and the plus 6, I'm just going to write negative 6. And then I still need to bring down my minus 18r. You can't combine the 6 with the 18 because they're not like terms. The 6 doesn't have a variable and the 18 does, so you can't combine those. Now it looks like we have a two-step equation. We're trying to get that r by itself, so let's start undoing this equation. Let's start taking things away. We need to get rid of the 18 and get rid of the 6 so that the r is by itself on its side of the equation. So let's start by getting rid of that number that's farther away from the variable. Let's leave the term that has the variable in it alone. We're going to leave it for last. So we're going to start by getting rid of the minus 6, and let's get rid of it by doing a plus 6. And what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. That goes away because it equals 0, and 84 plus 6 is going to give me 90. Equals negative 18r. That's what we had left here. Don't forget that negative sign. And now we have negative 18 times r. That's showing multiplication. So let's undo that multiplication by using division. And we're going to divide by the number we're wanting to get rid of, which isn't just 18, it's negative 18, right? So let's divide by that negative 18 on both sides. That goes away. And I have no idea what that's equal to, but my calculator is going to tell me. 90 divided by negative 18 gives me negative 5. All right, there you go. And that's the answer for your first problem. Okay, let's look at number 4. So on number 4, you have 4 times 1 minus 8a plus 7 equals 107. So it's a lot like this first problem because you're going to have to distribute first, and then we'll take care of the rest of it. If you had wanted to subtract off the 7 first, just a side note here, if you wanted to subtract your 7 from both sides first, you could do that. But I'm going to start by distributing. Okay, 4 times 1, 4 times the minus 8a. Okay, 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times negative 8a is negative 32a. And then I still have my plus 7 equals 107. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is get rid of the 4 and the 7, or not get rid of them, but I'm going to combine them. So we have a positive 4 and then plus a 7, that's going to be 11. And then we still have our minus 32a. Still equals 107. Okay, now we got to get rid of the 32 and the 11. Let's get rid of the 11 first. We always get rid of those numbers that are added or subtracted to the variable first. Get rid of the numbers, or save the ones that are multiplying and dividing by the variable. Save those guys for last. Okay, so we're left with the negative 32a equals, oh, what is that? Should I use my calculator? No, I got this. It's 96. Okay, here we go. And now we got to get rid of our negative 32a. Right here it's multiplying, so we're going to get rid of it by dividing it. Bam, there we go. Divide by the same thing on both sides. And a is going to equal, I'm betting it's negative 3, but I want to be sure. So 96 divided by negative 32. Okay, there we go. Negative 3. And we got it. All right, another one down. And y'all couldn't see that. I'm so sorry. But that was just the last step. I just wrote a equals -3. Let's go on to number 6. Okay, number 6, we have -12 equals 8r plus 3 minus 2r minus r. Oh my gosh, we have all these r terms over here, and they're not together at all. So let's fix that up a little bit. So we have 8r's here, and we lose 2r's here, and we lose another r here. I'm going to write my 1 in front of the r just so that I remember that there's a 1 there, because there's just one r there. So 8 minus 2 is 6, minus 1 is 5. So it looks like we're left with 5 r's there. And then we still have our little plus 3. And bringing down my -12, my -12. And now we have a nice two-step equation. So we're going to get rid of the number farther from the variable first. That's also the number that's being added or subtracted. Get rid of those numbers first instead of the numbers that are multiplying and dividing by that variable. So get rid of your 3 by subtracting it. And do the same thing to both sides. That's just going to leave us with -15 over here. Equals, we still have the 5r left. And now how are we going to get rid of that 5? Yeah, let's divide it, okay? So divide by 5 on both sides, and we're left with -3 here equals r. And that one's done. Okay, let's look at number 8. And then after I'm done with 8, I'm going to show you a problem that's a lot like number 3, because that one can be tricky. So just hang in there or fast forward if you feel like you're ready for that. But number 8 looks a little bit interesting, so let's definitely take care of that one first. 4 equals 5 plus 3x over 4 minus 10. So first things first, let's combine some like terms. What do you see? I see a constant here and another constant here, so just regular numbers there. So let me combine them. We would do 5 minus 10, and you can put that in your calculator if you want. 5 minus 10 is going to give us -5. So I'm going to bring down my 4 and my equals, and then instead of writing these two numbers, I'll write the -5. And then I still have my plus 3x over 4. All right. I should really say 3x divided by 4, because that's what's going on there. So using my equation solving skills, what am I going to get rid of first? I need that x by itself. So that 4 has to go away, the 3 has to go away, and the -5 has to go away. It looks like that -5 is farthest from the x, so that's a good heads up that you're probably going to get rid of that one first. And you are in this case. Another way to think of it is, again, that reverse PEMDAS. We're doing PEMDAS backwards because we're undoing the equation. We're taking it apart. And when you do PEMDAS backwards, the addition and the subtraction, they go away first. So we're going to get rid of this right here because that's being added. Now it's a -5. I want to do the opposite of that. And the opposite of -5 is +5. And I know that's right because when I combine those two together, it's going to go to 0. So that's definitely what I want. Some people like to think of minus a -5. If you like to think of that better, you sure can do that. It's going to give you the same answer. Either way, it'll go to 0. So either +5 or minus a -5. I'm going with +5, and I'm doing it on both sides. 4 plus 5 equals 9. And then I'm going to bring down my big fraction thing. Okay, great. Now, whenever you have a fraction, you would want to get rid of any numbers around it first, like what we did right here. We got rid of that 5. Right now, there's no numbers around it. The next step you're going to do is you're going to take away the denominator. You're going to get rid of the denominator. So right now, the 3x is being divided by 4. If you want to get rid of the 4, you're going to have to do the opposite of division. So we're going to multiply by 4. And when you multiply by 4, these two guys, they just cancel out, and they leave you with just the 3x, which is great. That's getting us closer to the answer. So what you did to one side, you also do to the other. 4 times 9 is 36. Let's do that. Okay, we're not done until this x is by itself, so we got to get rid of the 3. Right now they're being multiplied together, so let's use division to get rid of the 3. That will make that go away. And then what you do to one side, you also do to the other. 36 divided by 3 equals 12. And so 12 equals x. Whoops, almost ran off there. That's going to be your solution for that problem. Okay, like I promised, we're going to do a question that's a lot like number 3. But not exactly like number 3, because that one is on your quiz, and I wouldn't want to give anything away. So find some extra room on your paper, and you can copy this one down. Maybe, yeah, don't write it right there. My bad. Because then you won't have room to solve number 3. Maybe write it right here, or a different place that you think is better. So -82 equals 2 plus 4 parentheses 3 minus 8x. Okay, I'm going to give you a second to write that down. All right, pause the video if you need more time. I'm going to keep going. Now the question here is, do I want to distribute first or should I add these two numbers together? If you said distribute, then you are correct. You're going to distribute first. And that's because multiplication comes before addition in the order of operations. We don't reverse the order of operations. You know how I was talking about that? We don't reverse the order of operations until we're like undoing the equation and doing things to both sides. Right now, we're not undoing anything. We're just simplifying one side. We're only working on the one side of the equation for now. That's why we're using PEMDAS forwards. Okay, and to do that, like I said, we got to distribute. So let me just bring down my negative 82, bring down my 2. Okay, now 4 times 3 equals 12. So I'm going to write plus 12 because it was a positive 12. And now 4 times negative 8x is going to be negative 32x. So I'm going to write minus 32x. Okay. It's looking simpler already. Can I simplify any more here? Yeah, if you saw some like terms, you're right. You've got 2 and you've got 12. Those can be combined together to equal 14 minus the 32x, which is still there. And then, of course, I still need to bring down my negative 82. Okay, let's keep going. Now at this point, we just have a nice little two-step equation. What number are you going to get rid of first? We still need the x by itself. That's right, save that 32 for last. Get rid of the 14 first, so minus 14, because it's farther from the variable, because it's not, you want to save that variable term for last. So 14 goes away. Negative 82 minus 14, absolutely use your calculators if you want to. I'm pretty sure this is going to give me negative 96. And let me get that back on our screen if that was off, I'm sorry. Equals negative 32x. And now we just have to solve it. So these are being multiplied. We're going to take it apart by doing the opposite of multiplication, which is division. Those go away. And this is going to give us 3 is equal to x. And that's all we got to do. So just be careful when you see problems like this, because it's really easy to want to go, hey, 2 plus 4 is 6, got it, and then go on. But you got to save that addition for later. Okay. Let us know if you have any questions. We are here to help. We love to help, and I hope you have an awesome day. Bye.